What's going on, everybody? Sage here with the Run 'em Down YouTube channel, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we are going to be reviewing and kind of doing an overall review of the Falcon Medusa that I've been running for the past couple weeks. If you guys haven't tuned into my YouTube channel, past two videos, if you guys go back, you can actually see me in action in the field, running the scope, this actual exact setup right here next to me. And you know, we've been hunting pigs, we've been hunting coyotes. Overall, it's a really good scope. You know, I've used pulsars, I've used I-rays, I've used AGMs, I've used some of the top of the line scopes in the market right now. And I would say that the scope does kind of keep up with those top brands. In today's video, we're going to be kind of going over the specs of the scope. Some people have commented in my previous videos using the scope, you know, the kind of settings that I use, the contrast, the brightness, certain things like that, just to kind of get a reading of what works for me, what I think looks the best in certain situations. And of course it varies per, you know, where you're hunting and certain things like that. All right, so just kind of going through the basic functions. So every thermal has different settings that you can run. So with this one, you have white hot, you have your highlight, which basically dims all the background and enhances the heat signature. You have your black hot. You have your low light, which is kind of like a night vision green light. Everything is a little bit brighter green, heat signatures. And then you have your multicolor. So everything that's cool is kind of a bluish purple, and then your heat signature is gonna be a whitish orange. Also kind of going through, this scope does have Wi-Fi, so you can download the app onto your phone. I've done it. You can record, you can give it to your buddies, and they can hold your phone and they can see exactly what you're doing in the scope. So that's a really cool feature that most thermals nowadays have, but you know, again, this is just something that allows this scope to compete with those top name brands. It does, obviously it has reticle types, reticle colors, your zeroing stages. This unit also comes with a rangefinder and a ballistic calculator. I've played with the rangefinder. It's good to about 1,000 meters, which is almost 1,100 yards. So, you know, it does what it needs to, especially when you're trying to shoot out to those coyotes at those farther distances. I haven't played with the ballistic calculator. We actually have a range day coming up in the next couple weeks where we're going to take this scope out and we're going to get that ballistic calculator sighted in, ready to go. That way, you know, when I'm taking those 300, 400 yard coyote or pig shots, you know, we're able to get that reticle down to where it needs to be. You can also, you know, obviously adjust the brightness. You can adjust the background brightness, and you can also adjust the heat signature brightness, and then you can adjust the contrast. So based on your elevation, based on where you're hunting, where you're at. So I know certain places that we hunt in North Texas, contrast might be a little bit lower to make that image really pop. Other areas we might have to lift that contrast in order to kind of make it pop a little bit more. So it really just depends on where you're at. Again, I'm gonna give you guys kind of a basic of where I stand and what I use. You will have to adjust the scope to where you hunt at. Okay, so kind of going through the specs of the scope as well. So this is a 50 millimeter lens with a 640 by 512 resolution scope. So you are getting that higher end, and then you're also getting that 50 millimeter lens, so you can gather more from that. You can see a little bit farther. Now, of course, when you zoom, so this scope does have a base magnification of 2.8 times zoom. You can go out to 1 times, 2 times, 4 times, and 8 times. Now, of course, whenever you zoom in, the resolution gets a little fuzzy. That's just natural. It happens with, you know, almost every thermal on the market. So don't take that away from the scope itself. The frame rate for this scope is 50 Hertz as well, and the pixel size is 12 UM. It's a pretty basic UM and frame rate for a thermal of this size. So, you know, again, kind of keeping par with, you know, more of the name brands out there. So one of the things that I've kind of noticed, you know, overall, I really do enjoy the scope, you know, using it in the field. Been using it on the past couple hunts, just really kind of getting a feel for the scope. Again, this is a new company, so their product is new to everyone, especially myself. One thing that I will have to say, you know, I wish was a little bit better is the recording on it. So There are some times where we're, walking really fast. We have coyotes that, of course, if you guys have hunted coyotes before, you know that they don't just stand in one place. They could start running out of nowhere. So one thing that I do have with the scope is you do have to hold the record button down for about 3 seconds for it to start recording. Of course, this is something that's really, really small. It doesn't affect me hunting. It's just something that, on previous brands that I've used, Pulsars, iRace, certain things like that, it's just a quick 1 second, 2 second hold, boom, it's recording. Or it's even, there's a shot recorder. So it records 5 seconds before the shot, 5 seconds after the shot. Just something that makes your life a little bit easier. I have brought it up to Falcon, and it is something that they're working on and they're fixing and changing. But overall, I wouldn't say that it's something that really keeps you from being able to hunt efficiently with the scope. So another thing that I kind of want to let you guys know, so battery life on this, so it does take 18650 batteries, which is really convenient, especially with most of the thermals. The head mounts that we're using, they mostly take 18650s, so we just have a stockpile of them. So that's one thing that's really nice about this scope, and they're kind of on par with. Zeroing wise, extremely easy. If you guys have sighted in a scope, it has freeze frame on it. So, you can shoot, you see where it is, you freeze the frame, you basically just drop the reticle down to where your bullet went, and it will auto adjust that straight to it. I think it took me 2, maybe 3 shots to get it perfect at 0 at 100 yards. Now, of course, I am shooting 6.5 Grendel, so this kind of changes on what caliber that you're shooting. Of course, I've had it mounted on a 300 Blackout. I don't want to sight that in at 100 yards because I'm not shooting 100 yards, 100 plus yards with that gun. That's more of a, see how close I can get to these pigs, 20 to 50 yards from these pigs. So, of course, it varies, but extremely easy to sight in the scope. Another thing, kind of touching on the battery life and the batteries. So this does not come with a rechargeable battery. I know with Pulsar, they have their own little batteries that go into the scopes, and they come with chargers as well. This one does not come with a charger. It comes with one 18650. So that's something that I'd love to be able to see, going forward and redesigns with the scope is getting a battery that fits this exact scope, and then being able to send that battery charger with the scope as well in the package would just be kind of something that is, staying up with the top brands, but also making it convenient for the hunter. Okay, so one more thing as well, kind of want to touch on this, is the scope does come with a QD mount. They did not send it to me, but they do have it online, so that is just one more thing that kind of helps. If you guys want that quick disconnect, if you don't have a dedicated hunting rifle like I do, you can clip it on, you can take it off, you can put it on different guns. It has different calibers that you can save in the gun, so that's another feature that's really nice. Again, on par with other brands. So, if you want to swap it off, take it off of this gun, put it on a different gun, run that gun, sight it in, zero it. I always like to zero my guns, maybe put 1-2 shots down there just to make sure that we're good to go on that zero. Okay, so we're just kind of going to do a little unboxing for you real quick, just so you guys know what comes in the box and what you're to expect whenever you do order a Falcon Medusa. Comes with a nice soft case as well. Manual, everything like that. I have it off to the side. But when opening this up, you're going to get the scope itself in the package. You're going to get that mount that I was just talking about. You're going to get a sling for this soft case, a wall charger for the scope, and a little cord. If I can get it out. And a little cord. So that's kind of the basic stuff that you're going to get in the package itself. Now, every night, whenever I use this scope, I normally just plug it into the wall. It's just a USB-C. It charges up the scope, takes maybe an hour, depending on how dead the scope actually is. Again, this is just something that, we normally do with all of our thermals, make sure that we're good to go, make sure we're charged up before we actually go to a hunt. I like to charge it as soon as I get home. That way I know when I go into the field, I'm good to go, it's charged. So up top, going through the scope, you have your focus up here on the front. You have your eye relief, so you obviously turning this will make it a little bit more clear. This right here is the battery port, so pretty simple. You just turn that, boom, 18650 in there, swap that out in field. Obviously, power button is on the side, a little bit different. Normally power buttons on thermals are up top, but it's not really something I'm gonna gripe on just because it's, you know, it works. So turning on this scope, obviously you just hold this down for about 3 seconds, turn it on. If you're wanting to go into power saving mode, so if you're scanning around and you don't have any action, you hold it down for about 2 seconds, you'll see the screen start counting down, and then you can just turn it off, screen will cut off. The scope is still on, so if you need to get on it real quick, you just press the button real quick, power's back on, you're good to go. First button we have up on top is the record button. So short press it one time, takes a picture, hold it down for about 3 seconds, you get that recording. Second button in, short press is to select things, so whenever you go into the manual, you can go up and down with that. Long press allows picture-in-picture, so if you're not familiar with what that means, basically you have the overall picture of the thermal. With picture-in-picture, it brings up a smaller picture to the top of the screen, which is, I think, about a 4 to 8 times zoom. That way you don't have to manually zoom the scope in yourself. It's already up there on the top of the picture. Third button in is the menu button, so obviously pretty self-explanatory there. You press that down, brings up the menu. That's where you can change the reticles, change the different screens that you want, sighting in the gun. So, you know, everything that you have to do with the scope is all through the menu. And then finally, last button down is going to be your zoom. So just pressing that is going to bring it out to 1 times, 2 times, 4 times, 8 times. If you long press that button, is going to bring up your rangefinder and ballistic calculator. So, you know, pretty simple buttons up here. It is really easy whenever you're in the field and you're on something really fast. Once you learn where your finger needs to go on which button, you're able to kind of press it really quick. And, you know, I do give hats off to Falcon for being able to kind of make something as simple as that. This is Sage with the Run 'em Down YouTube channel. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, please comment down below. If there's anything that you guys want to see coming up in future videos, please let me know. I do have a couple other scopes that I will be reviewing and kind of going through the specs. We got companies like Pard, we got companies like Armasight that are sending us some scopes to review. So in the future, those will be coming up. Thank you guys for tuning into this video on my review of the Falcon Medusa M2. I'll catch you on the next one.
Boom. Got it.
Thank you guys for tuning in on this. Thank you guys for tuning in to this video. Damn, dude. Thank you guys for tuning into this video on the review of the Falcon Medusa M2. Oh, boy. Fuck strokes. All right.